Hello and welcome. This is Damian, I'll be your host today. And in this video we will be talking about winemaking process. Right now we are in the middle of the vineyards, and I wanted to show you a little bit because the secret for making a high quality wine, a beautiful wine, are the grapes. So you cannot produce a good wine with bad grapes. So that is the reason why most of the vineyards who really take care of their wines will produce their own grapes. I'll be showing you the winery and the vineyards. So just for you to remember, if you watch my previous video, I am not a sommelier or a winemaker. I have a wine tour company based in Argentina and in Uruguay. So I know a few things about winemaking. I actually make my own wine on my garage, but just for fun. So today we are in Uruguay. Right now we are in a region called Carmelo, and this is a boutique winery. And I think it's a great place for learning wine because all the machines are very small, and it's very easy to understand the winemaking process. So this is how most of the vineyards nowadays around the world are produced. You can see that there is a post over there and wire, and the vines climb and they are stick there. So you can make the vines grow as you want. This is the end of the summer, actually the beginning of autumn here in the southern hemisphere. You know, we have opposite seasons regarding the northern hemisphere. So the harvesting has already finished. You may see that the leaves are actually getting drier, they are dying, some of them are yellow, and the vines will be completely naked or with any leaves at all during the autumn and also during the winter. The vines will be sleeping until the spring. I'm just taking some video for you to know, for having an idea of how this property looks like. There you'll see a little guest house for guests, and a little more at the left you will see the winery, and that is where we are going. So there you can see the winery. As you can see, people have been working here. So we'll take a look at the machines. This is the crushing machine, the press over here, and tanks, more tanks. Some containers. Let's start with the winemaking process. So this is the winemaking process for making red wines, because white wines are a little different. Maybe we can talk at the end of the video, but the process starts here. So this is the crushing machine. As you can see, it's very small. So this machine crushes the grapes and also takes away the stems, because you don't want to use them. They are not good for making high quality wines. So when the harvest season starts, you drop the grapes here, and this machine will start pushing the grapes up to here. And let me take a closer look. This part of the machine is the one that crushes the grapes, and I will open the machine for you to understand. So the grapes are crushed here, and Let me show you. So can you see this part of the machine? This will start twisting. This is upside down, okay? So the grapes will be crushed and they will be thrown here. So basically, this part of the machine will start spinning and all the grapes and the juice will go to the bottom and the branches will be stuck here, and this machine will throw them away from this part. So you don't want to use the stems or any kind of branches. The grape juice and the skin, the seed, will be pumped through. Let me close again this. The grape juice will be coming out from here, and with a hose it will be taken to some container like this one, for example, the one that has the little door over there. So once you have all the grape juice with the skin, the seed in a container, the first step is the maceration. So maceration is cooling the grape juice and leaving the juice in contact with the skin in order to get all the color and the flavor, because all of those are located in the skin, not in the pulp of the grapes. So the maceration needs to be cool, so that is around 15 Celsius or 60 Fahrenheit, and the cooling system for these tanks is this part of the machine. This one goes on the top, and you will have cool running water through here, and that will cool down the grape juice. So that usually will take place for a week, more or less. So after those days have passed, the grape juice will be ready to start becoming wine. So far, the only thing that we have added to the grape juice are sulfites. So sulfite is a food preservative, and all wines around the world use it. Some people is scared about sulfite because they claim that they have headaches, but the truth is that if you drink a cheap wine, usually they will add a lot of sulfites and you may have some headaches. But if you drink a high quality wine, you won't have that problem. Some wineries are experimenting with making wines without sulfite. It's something really, really new. Those wines are really rare. They won't last much since the time that the wines are ready. Maybe they last for 1 or 2 or 3 months, and it's just like a test. It's not something that you can find very easily. After the winemaker has stopped the cooling system, the grape juice will start getting warmer, and when it reaches at 28 Celsius or 82 Fahrenheit, the winemaker will add the yeast. So yeast will eat the sugar in the grape juice, and the result will be alcohol or wine and carbonic gas. The carbonic gas will go away because, I will show you right now, there is a little door on the top of this tank, as you may see, and it's open. So the gas will go away. You don't want that in your wine. Only in the wines that you are looking at are in the sparkling wines, but that is a different process, and you will have the wine. That process usually takes between 7 and 10 days. During the fermentation, all the solid part go to the top. So you may see that there are some techniques because you want to mix the wine or the grape juice with all the skin and the seed. And usually what is done is a technique called pump over, which is through that hose over there. They will pump the wine up to the top in order to get all mixed up. Another thing that is usually done is called batonnage in French. So it is basically using a kind of a spoon on the top of the container and pushing all the solid to the bottom. So after the fermentation has over, you have wine, but you have wine and all the skin and the seed. So the first thing is to pump all the liquid, all the wine to another container, and that container could be the same kind, or over here we have other containers that is basically the same, but you don't have any door in the front or in any place. So once you have put all the wine there, you will use the press for all the solid, all the skin, all the seed will come here, and you will start pressing the wine just a little bit. If you press too much, you will get a very strong flavor, very tannic, very acid. You don't want to do that. You take all the skin and the seed through the little door with a spade, and you take it to the press. The wine will be resting for a few months, usually 4 months, and the wine gets better through time. So chemical process are happening during those months, and the wine will be getting better. You cannot drink a wine after it's done very fast. I mean, it won't be good. And during that process, a few times, the winemaker will pump the wine through this hose over there, and you can see that there is another at left. So he will use the one in the right, which is taller, upper, because he wants to move the wine from one container to another, and all the sediment will remain on the bottom, and it will be in this little piece of the tank. So this will be filled with all the sediments. And this technique is called natural clarification. So you are cleaning the wine naturally without using a filter. So after the winter, more or less 6 months after you started making the wine will be ready to be bottled. This is a bottling machine here. You put the bottles there and automatically will be filled. And right here at right, you have a corking machine. You put each bottle there and a cork on the top, and one by one you will cork the bottles. And if you do that, you will have what we call a young wine, a wine that hasn't been aged in any oak barrels. Young wines are wines that are meant to be drunk after 1 year of being produced, instead of the reservas and gran reservas, which are meant to be lasting for more than 5, 10, 15 years. So for making a reserva or a gran reserva, we need oak barrels, and we need a cellar for that. So that is where we're going. So those are the machines. Now we are getting to the cellar. So the idea of having a cellar is having a place with good climate conditions for storing your wines all year long in healthy conditions. So the idea is a good cellar should be cool during summer and a little warmer than outside during winter. So as you can see, there are some oak barrels in this cellar, and the idea of aging wines in oak barrels is making the wine last longer. So just for having an idea, if you age a wine for 12 months in an oak barrel, that means that the wine will be good and alive for at least 7 years in the bottle. Well, humankind researched through history with many type of oak barrels, and the only ones that seem to work are oak. You have basically two different types of oak: American oak and French oak barrel. Each one is different. At this winery, and most of the wineries in South America, we use both. So you have the same wine in different oak barrels, and after it will be blended. People usually like drinking oaked wines, because the flavor change is more complex. It is more full body, mainly because the tannins of the wine are mixed or blended with the tannins of the oak barrels. So nowadays people choose those type of wines because the flavor is better or more complex. But initially it was meant to make the wine last longer. Imagine a big winery produce 1,000 of litres, 1,000 of bottles, and those bottles are not sold in a single year. So many of them will be sold through, let's say, 5 years ahead. So they needed to find a way to make the wine be good until people were ready to buy it. So that is the idea of having oak barrels. One distinction in South America is what is called reserva and gran reserva. So usually we call a wine reserva or reserve when you age the wine in the oak barrel for 6 up to 12 months. And a gran reserva, it is more than 12 months. When you are collecting the bottles, the wine bottles, you always want to keep the wine in contact with the cork. Otherwise, the cork will dry and you will start having air inside the wine, and the wine will be bad, will be vinegar. So that is the idea. Look at these bottles, all in contact with wine, the cork with the wine. So after the wine is ready, the only task needed is to put the label and a seal on top of the neck of the bottle. In this case, you can see that we have here the winery is called El Legado, and this is a Tanat, which is the main grape varietal in Uruguay. This is a Reserva 2018. So this wine is ready to be sold and drunk. So now that you have watched all the process, just one more thing. If you are making white wine, you will first use the press, and you will be using only the grape juice, not the skin and the seed, for making a white wine. Remember that the color is located on the skin, so you don't want that for a white wine. And you will collect the grape juice in this container, and the process is basically the same. So regarding the rosé wines are produced just like the red wines, but when the fermentation starts, the winemaker can choose how long the skin and the seed will be with the grape juice. Remember that all the skin and the seed will go to the top of the container, and you can remove them if you go to the top and if you take it out. So that is how you measure, how you decide how deep the color of your rosé wine will be. And well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to be informative. And if you have any doubt, please send a message, a comment, and I'm sure that we will answer those.